Whoa.
I mean, hello. I was muted briefly. Discord should be fine though. Okay, so hey. Do you have a guess of what we're talking about today?
Literally do not know.
Even from that thing, the title?
No, I don't know what that's a reference to.
It doesn't don't think about it as a reference. Just take the title directly.
About waking up? Or like
Roll
morning
with
routines?
it. What does waking up have to do with?
The morning?
No.
Bed? Sleeping?
Yes.
Are we talking about dreams?
Yes. Dreams and nightmares. The whole reason I even thought about this, well, I'll get into it. First, let's do weekly sessions. Because I actually have one that is completely left field for me and will be just as left field for you when you hear what it is.
Oh god, okay.
For some reason, this week in particular, it's been like a hot spot for me. I fell down like a recommended video rabbit hole, and now I got like too interested, even more so than I was previously, where I started watching videos about Half-Life 2 and Portal lore, and then it went downhill from there. I started looking at everything. I started looking at all of like the explanation videos of like the specific different alien races, and how Portal at one point was going to connect directly to Half-Life by having Chell go to like Zen at the ending, which is like the interdimensional I guess dimension that they used in Half-Life, and that's what leaked out. And then they scrapped that. And then how also the time frame between Portal and Portal 2 is like 50,000 years, of which seemingly all of the things that happened within the Half-Life franchise, including the cliffhanger and beyond, would have already happened once Portal 2 started, to which I don't even know what that world looks like. But like, I've been for some reason very obsessed with that within the past weeks, and I've been looking at all that stuff, especially because you know how Half-Life had that VR game, Alex, that came out? You know what I'm talking about at all? Basically, they had one within the past couple of years. I don't remember exactly what year, but it was within like very recent. Because you know how the meme is like Half-Life 3, haha.
Yeah.
Well, they had this one, and people were like, this is Half-Life 3. It's not Half-Life 3. It's a prequel, first of all. And it just follows like one of the main characters that you interact with in the Half-Life 2 franchise. But it provides a different spin on things. And it also leaves you at the exact same fucking cliffhanger as the last Half-Life 2 game. And I'm not going to spoil it, even though I don't think you care. I'm not going to spoil it. And yeah, it's been a weird hyperfixation that's happened out of the blue because I watched one random lore video and suddenly I was like, I need to know more.
That's fair. I think I probably have put on one of those, like, the entire timeline of Portal 2 and Half-Life thing, like, in the background before.
Well, also, apparently, the same guy who voices Barney and G-Man, because it's the same voice actor who also works for Valve, started making some questionable tweets within the past months about, like, quote-unquote things to come. And people were like, is this going to be an actual Half-Life 3 situation? Because a lot of people are always talking about how it wouldn't make sense for them to release anything after the current story that's already been shown now, because it's kind of like the amount of hype and build-up would mean that it's never going to meet anyone's expectations. But in my mind, because I know how Half-Life 2 ends, I just want an actual definitive ending, even if it's a bad one. So I don't like loose ends. But yeah, that's been my weekly obsession. Also, hi Mikey. What about you?
Hold on.
Well, Mikey, tell us about your lovely trip to see your family. I know how much you loved it.
I'm having issues.
As you're about to vomit.
I'll look at this later. I can't figure how to fucking add this gift card to this order. Oh, I'm losing my mind.
You pray.
I don't understand what the issue is.
Your
I'll
faith.
deal with it later. Okay. I mean, I don't really have an obsession necessarily, so I'm gonna talk about D&D that happened last night instead.
Here we go.
So we had our second session because we had to take a break for the holidays. So this is like our second actual session that we've had, and it was fun. Our DM, fantastic. He's so good. Makes it so immersive. It's a lot of fun. He goes all in, like, on voices and everything. It's great. And there's only, as far as people who have actually played D&D before in this group, there's 2 people who have been in a D&D group with the same person as the DM. And then I've had kind of a D&D group before. So we're the only ones with experience.
That defunct one we had forever ago?
No, the one I was in, like, earlier last year.
Earlier this year.
Earlier last year. That just kind of dissipated and we never did anything with.
Well.
So as far as, like, D&D experience, that's it. So there's, like, a few of us that don't have any D&D experience, and this is their first time other than, like, Baldur's Gate or stuff like that. And so we've gotten into our first combat, and one of the things that's going on is, so we're playing in the world of Eberron, and one of the features of this world is that there is this group of people called the Dragon Marked, which is just people of different races, a part of these different houses that have, like, this weird tattoo on them.
A cult.
No.
Well.
And the Dragon Mark gives you, like, usually different arcane abilities.
Magical.
So my character is a Dragon Marked. It was the Mark of Storm. No. And the entire basis of my character is that they were raised by a village. They were raised in a farming village, and they helped a lot with the farming because they are an air genasi, so they were able to help storm stuff. And they've decided to go out on an adventure to try and learn more about their heritage and all that stuff. And the DM already said that they were going to have a lot of fun playing with my character's naivety, which is already very fun. But we got into a case of one of the first things we need to do is, like, track down a person. And we were given access to where this person was staying to try and look for clues. And one of the first things that happened is we're in his bedroom. And I'm the only one who sees a bunch of blood on the ground.
Ketchup.
No. Well, I'm the only one who sees anything weird. I'm the only one who sees the blood. Even the people who were, like, looking after this area did not see any blood. So I'm the only one who sees it. And when I touch the blood, it, like, absorbs into my skin. And so my character is freaking the fuck out.
That would be ketchup for you, though, in real life.
No, it would not be.
You would
Dear
absorb
God.
it into your skin if you could.
No, I would not.
Delicious.
No. So we ended up going, and we are now looking around the city that we're in for this person, and we follow all of these clues to this warehouse area. And there's, like, these people who are acting like zombies, basically, including this one guy who was impaled, and was just, like, the way it was described is, like, his wound kept closing and then ended up reopening, and then just would keep closing again and reopening and everything. And something happened, and now all of the people who are in this warehouse, who are described as, like, the workers of the warehouse, decided to look directly at me and my dragon marker that's on my shoulder, and they're gunning it for me. They're trying to now rip this dragon mark off of me that is in my skin.
Rightful reaction.
And I'm a sorcerer. I have 8 hit points. And
yeah, but you got magic.
I do have magic. However, I have misused my magic. We're level 1. I only have 2 spell slots. But I have a few extra spells because of my Air Genasi and Mark of Storm origin.
Well, also, did you use up your sorcery points?
You don't have sorcery points as a level 1.
Surprising.
You don't get that, I think, until level 3. Or maybe level 2, but I'm pretty sure. I know you don't have them at level 1. So we're in this combat, and there's at least 2 people that we know are gunning for it, because one of the people fell from like the 3rd floor and is a spear on the ground. And then we can hear people coming from where we came from. And so we can't see them yet, but we can hear the people coming in from behind us. And so I'm pretty high on the initiative order, so I end up casting Fog Cloud, and with my intention is to slow them down so they aren't able to get to me as quickly. And the DM did say, like, the way he did it was he rolled a die to decide which direction they would go once they entered the fog cloud. And I just got really unlucky, and when they did enter the fog cloud, they ended up coming straight towards me anyways.
Oh.
And then there was a bit of a case of we were able to kill some of them, but then something, we're assuming above us in the upper floors of the warehouse, casted a spell and reanimated basically all the people that we'd killed. So I have like 5 different people that are trying to like attack me at once right now. And I got like clobbered in the head, and it was a critical hit, so I took like 6 points of damage, so I'm bloodied. I have 2 hit points left. And I'm kind of cornered because I thought I was going into a place where they couldn't get to me, but they can climb over the things. So I wasn't prepared for that. So I may die next session. I don't know yet.
That's good. That offers you a chance to have a new character.
No. I trust this DM, though. I trust that he wouldn't just, in the first combat, kill off my character specifically. Because that's, if it was a case of these enemies are attacking everyone indiscriminately and we're just getting really bad rolls, okay, maybe that's one thing. But it's a case that these enemies are coming directly for me. So
I mean, have you just let them try and do their thing to see what'll happen?
I might not have a choice.
Because you never know. Maybe they just want to kiss you.
I know that they don't.
Have you asked?
No, but considering they got close and immediately clobbered me in the head.
Listen, sometimes that's how people show love.
These people don't want to show love. I know that much.
Well, out here policing people's love. What did they do to you other than come after you?
Other than trying to kill me?
You don't know if they're trying to kill you. They just want your mark.
They're trying to rip my skin off of my body.
I mean, why can't you just let them have the little piece, you know?
Because it's a part of my body.
Listen, a little snip snip, it'll be out of your life forever, and you don't gotta worry about it anymore.
Where the fuck is my entire shoulder?
That's okay. It's just the skin. You just bandage it, you know?
I don't think that's how that works.
Anyways. So. Let's talk.
Okay.
Dreams and nightmares. Do you want to know why I even thought about this topic in the first place?
Why? Because you've told me about some of your dreams, and I've told you about some of mine.
Well, no. Most recently, remember how I told you when I woke up that one time and I thought there was a bug?
Yes.
I freaked out. It happened again. I literally, but it was so much more embarrassing this time because I had another like session. I say session, like these are sleeping sessions. I had another time where I fell asleep. I woke up again and it was like close to like 9 or 10 or something. And I pulled out my phone and I opened up YouTube and it immediately for some reason went to the shorts page. And for some reason, there was this video where some person's hand went onto this bright screen, but in a black glove. And I thought that was a bug flying in front of my face. And I jumped. And I swear it was because I just woke up. So yeah. And then I thought, let's talk about dreams and nightmares. Because I've been having a lot of dreams lately. Specifically, I've learned that no matter what happens, my dreams start turning into horror movies.
Had that before.
And I don't know if it's because I think surely it won't happen again, and then me thinking that is what makes it happen, or if like my mind is predestined to make everything into a terrifying scenario. But like every single dream I have had within the past couple of days, even if I don't remember the plot, I remember it always takes a creepy turn and I always feel like I need to wake up at the end of it. So that's been fun to deal with. What about you? What have your dreams been like lately?
I don't remember them, honestly.
Wow. Then clearly they are not that important.
I haven't really been paying attention lately.
You gotta pay attention to know what happens, you know?
Yeah, but if you had told me we were gonna do this, I would have paid more attention.
Well, that's something you should have thought of. That's why dream journals exist.
No.
Have you ever tried to actually like write out every single dream you've ever had within a set time frame?
Not every single dream, but I have written down quite a few dreams.
I've only written down, to my knowledge, 2. But there are some that I remember specific sections of it. And like there's this one nightmare that I remember that I always would have as a child that I vividly remember, but I don't remember how it ends. But I would have it consistently when I was a child. And it doesn't even really have a plot. It's more of just like what was happening in the dream. But I figured I could read some of the dreams that I wrote down. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Have you ever had a sex dream?
I feel like I have, but I can't remember. I don't have any specific memories of a sex dream.
I have had at least 2 that I can think of, and one of which is very awkward because I was not at all attracted to this person and I knew him in real life.
Oh.
That is what made it worse, because I was like, when I woke up from it, I genuinely thought to myself, how did that happen? Because dear God, that has never been something I've wanted. And then another one involved random fictional characters. I don't even know if they were based on any actual characters. They were just people that I guess were made up, but I knew they weren't real, you know?
No?
Yeah.
What?
And I probably had more at some point, but I feel like they've never been interesting enough for me to remember. There was one time, this isn't sexual, but there was one time where I started lucid dreaming by making myself fly, and for some reason I was in an office space with a bunch of people, and I started flying to every single person around and sitting on their shoulders, and then I felt like I was peeing myself. I wasn't, thank God, not in real life, but I felt like it, and I didn't know what that was about.
Time you wet your bed.
You just said time you wet your bed. That is what I heard.
When was the last time you wet your bed?
Probably when I was in early elementary school, maybe.
Okay.
Like first, second, third, somewhere in there.
I think I've only ever wet my bed once when I was younger.
But I also think it probably had to do, well, and I was, funnily enough, it came with a dream where I was sitting on an apple tree.
Okay.
I was sitting on an apple tree, and kind of similar to the office one, I was like floating from branch to branch, and then suddenly I felt like my pants were getting wet, and I looked down, and then I woke up and I was just pissing the bed. So
Well,
things happen, you know? Have you ever woken up and thrown up?
yes, I have. Well, I
That's
mean, like, not
fun.
immediately, but I've woken up nauseous and had to go throw up.
I would always end up throwing up in the bed.
I luckily never had that happen.
Yeah. Thank God I never let it happen after that fact, but... Okay, well, here. Do you remember any specific nightmares that come to mind?
The main nightmares that I remember is... It was years ago. And
it was 87 years ago.
it was years ago. And I can't remember all of it. But it was a case of... The main part I remember is there was a gigantic, like, computer lab.
Sure.
Like you would have at school. And there was this man with a chainsaw.
Sounds like your typical Dead by Daylight game.
Yeah.
Down to being in a school and everything.
Who was chasing after us. The thing is, he did get me, but when he attacked me and he quote unquote cut me up, I just turned into a bunch of Pokemon plushies.
I mean, that's also not out of the ordinary for you.
But I remember specifically, like, trying to stop him before he got to Mom. That was the one thing. Before he got to my mom. And that's the thing. A lot of my nightmares revolve around Mom getting hurt. Because it was the similar thing. Same person. So same chainsaw man, but he in a different setting. Where Mom and I were being held hostage in this hotel room.
Sure.
And I had like a walkie-talkie to talk to police down on the street. And the guy holding us hostage was like saying, "Don't you dare talk in that, or I'm gonna have to do something." And I still talked into it, and he looked so he was like, "Can't believe you done this. Now I have to do this," kind of a deal. And he started, I can't remember if he started breaking or was like cutting off my mom's fingers.
Wow.
And I remember I was just bawling and everything.
I mean, you did do it. So I don't know what you were expecting.
I mean, those are the two main, and I guess it depends on what you consider a nightmare necessarily. Because like, I've had a dream once where in the dream, I was like spinning and it was making me, and I woke up dizzy.
Well, I wouldn't consider that a nightmare as much as you just having motion sickness.
Well,
I mean, okay, I know there's a common theme with nightmares that I've had, but the main one I remember, like, from childhood, it wasn't even necessarily a nightmare in the sense of something bad was happening. It was like I felt like something bad was about to happen. And I don't even know if it was from my perspective, because it kind of felt like you were floating throughout it, but there's like this house that was like, the best I could describe it is like this classic haunted house kind of vibe, where like if you were flying through the haunted mansion or something. And it was nighttime, and I think it was like storming outside, so it was perfect for like a creepy story setting. And at least from my vantage point, it felt like I was kind of like floating through almost in a camera angle. I feel like that's what a lot of my dreams end up becoming. I feel like I'm watching a movie rather than living what the dream is. because I often will see things from different vantage points that are not how physics works, of how I could be there and such. And with this one, it's like I was floating through this haunted, creepy house, and it was slow. It wasn't like a fast float through. So maybe, I don't know, I was a ghost or something, but I had like this ominous feeling that at any second something bad was about to happen. And I feel like that's what happens a lot with my dreams, but with this one in particular, I don't think anything bad ever necessarily happened that I can remember. It was mostly just the feeling of terror of something would happen and nothing ever did. But then, like, more recently, because you know how everything's been turning into horror movies, I had this one dream that the details are kind of fuzzy. I know that I think it was meant to be in this room that I'm in right now, but everything was off about it to where it didn't look correct. And I also knew it wasn't right because, one, I had 2 windows in this room, and one of the windows where it wouldn't have existed in the first place looked out over at a neighbor's yard, which just isn't how this house works. So there's always like little hints like that. But I remember I was like in this room and it felt kind of bigger, but it was like empty, like we had just moved in or something. And I remember it was nighttime outside specifically, and it had to do with like hearing and or seeing people outside my window while it was nighttime, and I had like blinds, so I was like peeking out to see what I was hearing or something. And then to the window that doesn't exist in real life that I walked over to look outside, the way that it was looking at a neighbor's house it's almost as if I was looking at the side of a neighbor's house and I could see like their fence and then the side of their house. And I remember looking out, and it was already dark and creepy, and I already, in my mind, like even outside of the dream, I was like, something bad's about to happen. And I looked out and I saw this thing staring at me from behind the fence. And in my mind, it's like I predicted that was gonna happen, and this is why I swear it's because I expect something horrible to be there, and that's why it ends up being there. But something was looking at me, and it didn't look like a person, and it didn't look like a monster either. It was kind of just like this weird face that was peeking from behind the fence. And I remember freaking out thinking, oh dear God, now what's gonna happen? And then suddenly the room started turning to flesh, and there was like this hole that opened up in the ceiling that had teeth, but it was like specifically an actual hole. It didn't look like a mouth or anything. And then I woke up. There's probably more to it than that, but that was the most recent one.
Do you
sleep properly? Are you okay?
Well, I know you don't.
Well, listen.
Yeah. Do you get subtitles in your dreams?
No, I'm not like you. Not in that regard.
I have subtitles in my dreams, and I've had some people be like, well, that's impossible, you can't read in your, and I'm like, I swear I have subtitles that I could read in my dreams.
Well, that's the thing. I think it completely depends on how someone's brain is, because you have something like that, and like I said, I swear the way that my dreams are filmed, it's like it's trying to be cinematic. it's like I'm looking at it from camera angles.
I sometimes have that, but more often than not, it's from at least a first-person perspective.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mine isn't, and then I get like so taken out of it because I'm like, how am I here? How am I seeing what I'm looking at right now? And then I end up waking up because I'm trying to think about it too hard. But yeah, I know. Have you ever had any of like the common things that people dream about? Well, you know, like there's the falling, there's the being naked in public, being chased. I think losing teeth is a thing people say.
I've had one where I lost teeth. I can't remember like any of the specifics.
And
but I do remember I did
in the past months. Yeah. I swear I remember seeing somewhere where that has to do with money. Either money or attractiveness, and I don't remember. But I remember my teeth were like deteriorating and crumbling and I couldn't eat anything and I was very sad.
I don't remember anything other than I know I had a dream where my teeth fell out.
But also with falling, I feel like you often don't get a build-up to that. You kind of just fall asleep and then you feel like you're falling and then you wake up. I mean, I've had dreams where I've fell in the dream, but it didn't feel like I was falling. In the same sense of like if you wake up yourself from feeling like you were falling. Because I feel, in my dreams at least, everything that I do feels off. So like when I'm falling, it doesn't give me the same sensation, or when I'm moving it in any way, I don't have the same sensation of movement, and so it never feels quite right. And I've had moments where I've like lucid dreamed because I've known that this was happening, but then what ends up happening is because I'm thinking about it so much, I think that's what makes me wake up.
I don't know if I've ever lucid dreamed. I've tried to one time and I just ended up waking up in a panic attack.
Why?
So, I
What
don't
did
know.
you do?
I don't know.
Well,
But I haven't attempted to lucid dream since.
well then also there's always the ones that I get before like I have a deadline or something, and I imagine like I horribly missed the deadline or something. And I'll get really worked up about it. It used to happen a lot in high school where I would think that I had a test or something that I had not prepared for, and then I had to take it, and I had to like make amends with the fact that I probably wasn't going to get a good grade on it, and I had to just be like, well, it is what it is, and then I would wake up and I wouldn't even be in the right mind of like, it's not even a day I go to school, so why am I dreaming about this? But yeah, and I feel like just flying comes infrequently, but when I do think about me dreaming, that's when I typically make myself fly. But it doesn't work the same way. It's almost like if you see someone struggling to, okay, do you know when Donald Duck tried to fly with his little wings and he could barely get up in the air? That's what it feels like when you're trying to make yourself fly.
Okay.
Because like you know you can do it even if you're like not in a lucid state and you've flown before in dreaming. You know you can fly, and when you actually try and you're like, come on, work for me, it's like you're barely chugging through the air, and it frustrates me to no end. Because I always am like, well, come on now, I know this is possible, why do you have to be like this? Yeah, I don't think I've ever...
Have you ever had a dream with, I guess in your case would be Scorpy? Has Scorpy ever shown up in a dream for you?
I want to say yes, but same with everything else. I was like, you aren't my dog. Because he wasn't acting right.
See, I had the opposite, where GOG specifically has been in a lot of my dreams. He's been like the main focus in a lot of my dreams. And the thing is, at least to me, it feels like that is DOG. So I like to think of it as him visiting me.
Uh-huh.
And I did have a dream, like within a week after we put Ellie down, of Ellie.
Flying?
No, she was not flying. She was being a little shit as usual.
You should have tossed her. That's all what happened.
No.
I mean, how else are you gonna test whether or not they're real?
What do you
and plus,
mean?
she is literally tossable by nature of her size. She's football size.
I mean, yeah.
You just kind of throw her like a hot dog.
She's a heavy fucking football, though.
Well, listen, it wouldn't
She's
be
like an
heavy in the dream.
11-pound football.
Oh right, that was another thing. One time I had this dream where there was like this horrid cockroach problem. It wasn't in this house, but it was in just a house that I guess we were in. And it was so bad. And I don't even know why it was a thing. Because in my mind, I think if I was presented with this in real life, I'm not nearly as scared of cockroaches as like Faye or my mother. But if there was like that many, I would still be grossed out to some capacity. But in this dream, I was just like walking around, letting them crawl everywhere, sometimes on me. And I was like, surely this isn't correct. Because I don't know. I feel like I often just find that my dreams are so ridiculous. And that's why I end up getting pulled out of them, because I'm like, there's no way this is real, right?
A lot of dreams, unfortunately, with spiders in them.
Well, I imagine fear definitely works into dreams and nightmares, because I feel like a lot of the times whenever I have like really scary dreams that I remember in the moment, it always involves like people either breaking in or people being around where I'm living that are bad. And I feel like that's always been a big fear of mine. Or God forbid, people just looking in and looking at me when I'm looking at them. Have you ever woken up from a dream inside of a dream and then not known it was a dream?
Maybe? I don't know.
Because I've had that happen before, where I woke up and I thought I was out, but then I looked at the room that I woke up in and I was like, something ain't right. I had to wake up again. But yeah.
I mean, I've told you about my...
You told me about that weird coin baby one.
Yes, I did.
I don't even fully remember the plot of that one because it was very all over the place.
I mean, yeah, a lot of my dreams are. The one where it was like in a race and the end of the race was like in this haunted house type thing. And you had to get like, I forget if you had to steal a coin from like a baby doll or if I had to give the baby doll a coin or something like that. I cannot remember. I just know at one point either me or mom was in a wheelchair.
You wrote it down somewhere.
I don't know where I wrote it down.
Because you sent it to me. And that's where I had those
Discord?
weird screenshots from.
Is it on Discord?
Unless Discord was white, maybe it was on Skype. Oh God, hold on, let's see.
I have the Japan one from you.
I have that one. I also have this other one about Amsterdam.
Well,
that I wrote down.
when I look up dream in our Discord, I do not see it.
I mean,
Is it in our text?
that would not be findable then.
I can search in my text.
It could be in Skype. Here, I will say my Amsterdam dream while you look.
I don't even know how to get into my old Skype.
You log in.
I don't know what my login is. I don't know what email I would have used.
Okay, well then I will download Skype while I tell you my Amsterdam story. Oh God, I never thought I would be getting this on this computer of all things. That's a blast from the past to everyone in this room right now. Skype. Okay, so I had this dream in 2018. And it seems relatively short. I'm sure there were more details, but this is what I remembered. So it goes like, I had a dream where I went to Amsterdam and immediately met up with a gay couple that was there, and they're dudes, by the way, and they convinced me and mom that I should stay for a while, even though I don't know why I was in Amsterdam in the first place. Then at a rest stop, a random girl took a Polaroid picture of me hugging a pillow because we were riding in their car on the way from the airport. She gave it to me and I ripped it on accident because it was made of jelly or something, and on the back was her PictoChat name. And then someone from my high school got in the back of the car with me and the other guys, and we fast forward to some point later that night where it's around bedtime, and I go to get up to go to the bathroom from the air mattress, but my headphones are super loud playing a song with IA in it, which is a Vocaloid, and one of the guys comments how he can't tell whose headphones that he hears. Mine are his boyfriend's. Then I go to the bathroom to inspect my headphones, noting that there is a very old version of Quizzy on them. Then I woke up. It was like a sticker of the furry version that was on the headphones. And that was so funny to me.
I think, okay, what I think happened is I wrote down a good portion of my dreams on my like notes app for a version of Android that doesn't exist anymore. So I don't have access to it because it's on like an old phone. Although I do think I wrote some down in Hindu.
Look at all the Skype chats. Contacts.
I mean, this is one dream I have. It's literally, this is the entire entry from July 18th, 2020. So after going to bed at 6 because my hives hate me, I finally fell asleep. The first dream, I was Ethan Crank Gameplays, and he was convinced that he was going to die because he killed some people, and he was sending people everything as a goodbye. You can tell I wrote this when I first woke up because I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know what
He
you're
filmed
saying
the last.
either.
He filmed the last Unis Honest with Mark, who didn't believe he was going to die. He killed people in this fancy hotel. Second dream, I was a clone of myself, ? So I had no rights. I kept hanging out with Matt, who was one of my friends. But half the time, I was a disembodied head. Matt messaged me and said that I needed to tone down personal stuff or else we couldn't talk anymore, and so I did. But it was also revealed that he thought self-cessed was hot, and he forgot he put that there. So he was embarrassed, and I became a head again, and we dug stuff up in his house that was covered in sand.
What? I don't even know what that means. Oh dear God, do we even have a chat on here, or did we always just have texting?
I found another dream. I passed out really early last night because of band camp, and I woke up 3 hours later. I went back to sleep and had this weird dream. I can't totally remember what happened, but I know before the main part, I was in this gym and Zarya from Overwatch was there, but younger, and I was trying to copy her workout, and then she came over and fixed it for me. Then us and this other girl got in a car and were figuring out how to get home, and we got like Slurpees and shakes and stuff. Then my mom showed up. It then shifted into a completely new scene where Mom and I were running or got lost trying to get home and somehow ended up in South Georgia near Savannah. No clue how, but I recognized everything, but things were shut down because of COVID. This one stairwell park garden thing would show up quite a bit. Then it shifted again, and now it was in the early 1900s or something, and I was this little girl who hit her head and thought her name was Abby. And I met this little boy who I would not leave alone, and we ran around together. Something happened and I was put into a medical coma. I wake up and the boy is now an old man and has fixed me up, but I'm still young. He had to fix my back or something. Technology has advanced, and I look out the window and there's cars and stuff. We walk down the street and he enrolls me in this high school, but that's all that's mentioned of that. Then we go to a shipyard near an outdoor bar, and I see my mom and brother and some other familiar faces. I've missed things, but they're happy to see me. Mom says something about going back home to... I think that's supposed to say Skylark. And my brother corrects her... Oh, no, okay. Mom says something about going back to Sylar. And then my brother corrects her that it's Sailor. And I'm confused because aren't we living at the Palmer house? And since when is my brother and mom so close?
That's what you looked at and the details.
We go home, in quotation marks, and I don't recognize that at all. Not only that, but Andrew is, Portillo, sorry, is living at home and has a clean room.
Again, looking at very specific details.
And I'm reeling, cause what? And I say he's autistic, but he's somehow functioning better. Why am I ableist in my dream? At some point, I bring up Dad, and it turns out Mom and Dad are still together. I have trouble mentioning Dad without also mentioning my stepmom, and I tell Mom that she was engaged to a man named Stepdad. Now, none of this has seemed to happen. And that's it.
Well...
What are you showing?
This wasn't our Skype chat. I don't even...
Oh, God.
This is this. And by the way, who is this from? Yoshi's graduation party?
Maybe?
I think it is, because I see a grad thing in the back, but then this. God. Look at that bowl cut.
Was that an Overwatch video too?
Yeah, it's that Symmetra one. Oh God.
Is that all we had?
Yeah, it only goes up to a certain point, so the only thing I can think of where you might have sent it is through text.
But I don't see it either.
Well, I'll have to look. I'll have to see how far back I can go. God, now I have to uninstall Skype. Here, I'll tell my lovely Japan dream that involves Sarah.
This isn't a I don't think this is considered a sex dream, but it was a dream that involved my major crush at the time.
But no sex.
No sex.
So
Go ahead,
no
read
head.
out yours.
So no head. Okay. I specifically wrote this in mind with that I was going to send it to Sarah because it involved her partially. The thing is, every time she was there, she was typically asleep in my dream, which isn't out of the ordinary.
Very accurate.
But okay. This was January 29th of 2021. So almost the anniversary of the stream. I had the weirdest dream where me and my cousin Sarah went to like this futuristic Japan for vacation or something, and if you imagine what the Neo Tokyo looks like in Marvel Rivals, that's about what I was thinking. That's what it looks like to me. We flew in, got to our hotel, and I started exploring alone in a building nearby where I found like a jewelry mob boss club or something. And they had a dog-like thing that looked more like an alligator on a leash that chopped people's heads off. And there was a staircase that led to a stained glass hallway with a bunch of neon signs outside, which led to a bar in the other building where I signed up to get a tattoo, but told the artist I wanted to go take a picture of my inspiration, which was the stained glass hallway I just walked through. But I ended up coming all the way back to our hotel room where I told my cousin, Sarah, and of course she was totally unfazed and pretty much passed out on the bed. So I got my extra battery pack and USB cord and headed back, I'm assuming for the camera, and headed back to take a picture. No, headed back to the tattoo bar, but still hadn't taken a picture of the hallway yet. So I told the tattoo dude, who had blue hair and a bunch of tattoos, go figure, give me a second, I still need to take some pictures. And he was like, second time around, if you don't want a tattoo, it's fine. And I said, I swear I'm serious about this. I would even kiss you to show how serious. In parentheses, I have no idea why that was what I was compelled to say. And we both stared at each other for a second, and then he pecked me on the lips and said, go get some pictures. It always turns gay, apparently. So I went back to the hallway, but it was daytime at this point, and I wanted it specifically at nighttime building when there was lit up neon signs, so I had to wait. So I headed through into the other building with the mob boss jewelry people, and their scary dog freaked me out, so I got out of the building, headed to street level, and went in line for a subway where there was a lot of people in wheelchairs for some reason. But then I thought to myself, I don't think I should go to a different part of the city because I won't get back in time. Plus Sarah, oh shit, Sarah. And I had to rush out of the line, looking at flowers along the way to see if maybe I could use that as tattoo inspiration, but I ended up not. All the while I was trying to get back to the hotel on the streets, and I ran into Sarah with Portillo and Yoshi, and Sarah said that everyone had come over, to which I took paper from Sarah and ran to the next area where there was this flower garden waterfall that my family, even my dad's side of the family, like my entire extended family was somehow there now, and they said they had to come over to check on us. So of course I did what anyone would do. I ran. So I get back to the hotel area and it's starting to become dusk, so I'm happy I might be able to get good pictures. But I go up to the mob boss building and the dog chases me away from going through a hallway again. So I end up going backwards through the other bar building up to the tattoo artist in a different room in the basement. I said up, but then I said in the basement, so I'm not sure which is true. With a TV playing weird retro wave music on it. And I guess at this point, since I was supposed to be leaving with Sarah for a flight in like 10 hours, that me and this guy were heavy brainstorming tattoo ideas for me, and I couldn't come up with anything, and then I woke up. So yeah, I don't know why that was one that stuck with me so much, but I feel like there's just a lot of details in it that I thought were really funny.
You about my space bread conveyor belt thing?
You told me about it, and I remember some details about it.
I mean,
did you end up ever like writing that one down?
I swear I did. I don't know where I wrote it down though, is the thing.
I think you just don't know where you wrote a lot of these down.
Let me see if I wrote it down in my little private Discord thing.
Yeah, the top of my messages with you on my phone is back when you got that puppet.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
You mean Mr. Cotton Candy?
That you've done absolutely nothing.
I've done nothing.
With.
I know where he is at least.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure we had a bigger text thing for me on like my old phones or something.
Yeah. What I can remember of the bread one is that I think like the Earth or something got destroyed by the moon, or I don't really remember that part.
Very Majora's Mask of you.
Yes. But I don't know. I don't know like if it was all of a city. I don't know like how many people were there, but we were in like a very Wall-E-esque, this big ship of just humans that had escaped. And it was just a big fucking like production line of making bread. And that's the main thing I remember. And I think there was a mutiny at one point.
And that's all she wrote. Literally. Well, actually, that's more than what she wrote because she didn't write anything else.
I have this one that I just have titled as "Interesting Dream," and it says kind of centered around a Jesse and James pair. A smaller me was a sidekick who looked like
Meowth?
who looked like Stevani from Steven Universe, and and then they tried to catch this monster with an electrical plug, thinking it wouldn't break. But I got taken down
the electrical plug.
I think the electrical plug. Then I got taken down a different path, and they tried to get me with an electrical plug, but then that broke, and they realized the other one did too. They had to make the decision to go stop the monster and help me later. I don't know what they were doing. They were doing the me, but there were lions and that they were taming, and I guess I was base?
Did you just say they were taming the me?
Oh no! I was in pain, and they were asking questions, and they were doing something to me, and I was in this big dirty t-shirt that covered me as a nightgown. Oh, I remember the stream now. I told them how...
What carried it back for you.
I told them how the Stevani person had to capture the monster, and they did something with that info. James carried/dragged me to the office building while following Jesse. Jesse was a higher up there, while James was a technical person or whatever. We went to this meeting room where I was too tired or something to ask for help, but people just thought I was scared or shy or something. James was nice to me, kinda, and eventually we left. There were other quote-unquote patients in this lab place that James looked after. James was rather attached to us all. He would let us get together for quote-unquote experiments and just give us good food we could eat. There was an older black man there that I was friends with. There was a scream during one of the quote-unquote experiments, and James ran to see what happened, only to find us all gone and presume us dead, ?
Was this just like a prequel to you being in the mental institute?
Maybe. He was very upset about his hummus, but then he was also,
Okay.
it's also like, why do they make me heal you just to hurt you again? To me, mostly. A group of new patients were found, and I was among them, but the animals were disguising as new animals to sneak away or something. James was very concerned about me. I let him know that we all loved him.
Well, that's nice. You had a lovely father figure in James. I know. Have you ever had dreams where, like, if you've been playing a certain game or something for a long time, or like obsessing over a game or fixating, however you want to put it, where you then start dreaming that that is your reality?
Hold on, I'm looking at. That's what that is. Okay, I'm looking at some of the other dreams I've written down, and I see something that says FMAB, and I'm like, what the fuck is FMAB? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Wow. I've had dreams where I straight up, for some reason, it's not even necessarily that I was in a game, it's that I dreamed I was playing a game. And I dreamed like I was playing Overwatch or something, and that I was very stressed about it. And then I would wake up and I would be like, you're not playing the game, honey. And also I would think back to like what I was thinking in the dream, and I'm like, none of that makes sense with that game either. Like I'd be thinking about
like
mechanics that don't even exist in the game or something.
Maybe I have. I genuinely, I cannot remember if I had something like that. I've had One Piece dreams.
Were you in it or you were watching it?
I don't even think I was in it. I think characters were just.
Okay, that's different. That just has anime characters in your dreams. Because I don't think I've ever had a dream where I was specifically inside of whatever weird video game situation. It's always from like an outside perspective. But then again, I don't know. I feel like I've had a lot of... Hello? Are you good?
No.
She's vomiting, everybody.
I feel like I need to read this one out. Oh god.
Go on.
Specifically because of the end. So, okay. This one is titled D&K Dream Study because this is when I was in psychology class and we were studying the D&K Dream Study, which is basically studying eye movements and how it relates to dreams. And so this is word for word. Vivid memory, recall, most likely woken up during REM, maybe at end of stage. There were hermits from Hermitcraft like Iskal, Jevon, and Izuma. Probably more too, and Sky does Minecraft. They were doing a redstone challenge, and you had to see how far you could get without making a mistake. Iskal was the first to make a mistake and was blown up, causing Sky does Minecraft to mock him, which he did not like, and saying he is scared of him. Iskal became me, and it was early morning, and I need to fix the bathroom door or something, and Mom is saying I can and have to do it. I do it. Then we set up something with the Wi-Fi for my ex-girlfriend's family, but you guys were there. Your family was there, specifically your dad.
Okay.
And they were in a combo of your guys' house and the old house of my mom's ex-boyfriend's parents' house. but had the exterior that was that of our uncle's house, our uncle in Texas's house.
Okay.
I noticed the car running and asked if the girl, my ex-girlfriend's sister, even though she doesn't have one, had turned the car off. Nope. So in order to turn it off, I had to disconnect our Spotify / Wi-Fi account from their house, and I can't. Skip back to the Minecraft people, as POV is Iskal again, and they have trapped Skyda's Minecraft in a place that I can't remember what it looks like, but there is apparently a gun mod and a lawnmower mod. Izuma, in his bee suit, tells the group going in, Zuma, Jev, and Iskal, and a few I don't know, that we kill as a joke, we don't kill too afraid. That's
What?
a direct quote, apparently. He goes Sky's Minecraft, and he's a cocky little shit, and they try and talk with him, but he has a bunch of the modded in guns, and they are strong, and he kills everyone but Iskal, and then he is out of ammo, and they're in this big apartment. Brian David Gilbert's, maybe?
You're saying a lot of names right now.
No. And both are on lawnmowers chasing each other, but Iskal is on a better one. Eventually, Sky's Minecraft turns invisible, and they are in the main room with Iskal on the lawnmower talking to him, trying to get him to stop. Sky's Minecraft jumps out of nowhere with a purple unplugged hairdryer that Iskal deflects with his own hairdryer and continues to. He tells Sky's Minecraft that I am not afraid of you, Sky's Minecraft. And Sky eventually gives in, saying he's going to take a screenshot or picture about this all and post it. Iskal, who then becomes me, is flipping him off in it and says, I don't even care, dude. Definitely on the longer side of sleeping, more around the 15-minute mark. Lots of vertical eye movement, most likely.
Did you have to submit this to the class?
No, this is purely because I'm a little psychology nerd.
Because if you did, I feel like that would have been interesting to see what other people reacted to it like. Now you want to talk about an SMP. She was in the game all the way back then, let me tell you.
Was fanfic? No, this was a dream. I've had a lot of dreams that have like a lot of Minecraft YouTubers in it because I watched them so much.
Okay.
I had not watched Sky Does Minecraft for ages, though. I don't know why he showed up.
Have you ever had a dream related to fanfic?
He probably. I mean, that not is what I read you, not basically it.
Well, I don't know. There was interdispersed points of you having to fix Spotify car Wi-Fi in an amalgamation house. So I feel like that kind of detracts from the pure fanfic stuff.
I've had a dream where I've written an entire musical before, with Grammy specifically.
Yeah, but then did you actually write it out in real life?
No, because I couldn't remember how anything went.
Well,
but I know there was like original songs and everything, and they were pretty catchy.
when you remembered them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've also had instances like that, obviously not writing a musical because I would never be content doing that, but I've had instances where either I've seen something, because one of the things that I've thought about from that weird Tokyo dream that I said was that hallway, the stained glass hallway with the neon signs around it. I still can vividly see what it looks like in my mind, and I would love to actually illustrate it one day because of how much it is stuck in the back of my mind. But I've also had instances of either just things that I've seen or like concepts for like videos or even stupid edits that I have pulled from dreams and just used and rolled with them, even if they're very ridiculous, and that always ends up for a very interesting project, it seems like.
I mean, I think my most popular fanfiction on Wattpad back in the day was specifically a Gravity Falls dream that I had, that I turned into a fanfiction.
Yeah, it was almost like you were predicting it for the future. A seer, if you will.
Have you ever had an experience where you swear you had a dream about something and then at some point later on you experience it in real life?
All the time. But I'm pretty sure that's what people think deja vu is.
Yeah. Because I remember specifically, I don't totally remember what dream it was from, but I remember seeing it in a dream. And I had to take like a makeup exam for my Latin class in college.
Oh, I thought you meant like a makeup exam, and I was like,
No.
do makeup?
No, it was a makeup exam for Latin in college, and we were all in different rooms, and I was taken to this room, and I remember walking in and just being hit with something like, I've been here before. Like, why do I know this room? I've never actually been in this room, but I was like, I couldn't focus on my test because I was so focused on the fact that I knew this room.
I've actually had a moment before where, I mean, it's probably multiple moments, but one that I can specifically remember, where I was sitting down with my family and I was talking with my mom, and she like had sneezed, and then she said something after she had sneezed, but in my mind, right after she had sneezed, I immediately knew what she was going to say. I said it in my head as she was saying it, and I was like, I've been here before. Something has happened. And I think at least with, I mean, in my mind, I imagine the whole reason for deja vu and why people say that's the association is because it's very easy, obviously, to like forget dreams, and so then it feels extra weird when you're like, I feel like I've been here before, but you can't remember how or why.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You could just definitely attribute it to that, and I do think that is a decent amount of it too. But I feel like I've had a lot of very odd experiences before. That didn't feel like it was just that, because I feel like I don't know if a dream would be able to predict that in that same way. Because like just being in a general area where you're like, this seems familiar, I think your mind can draw a lot of parallels in and of itself that don't necessarily have to be exact. And because you don't necessarily remember, it's kind of like, at least in my mind, the way that I think about it is it's like your mind is pulling from where a USB drive used to be, and there's like leftover data remnants or something, and so it's like, this looks similar, so maybe you have been here before. But I feel I've just had a lot of weird moments where it wasn't just like areas, and it wasn't just specific places and stuff. It was knowing very minute details that I don't know how I would have known them, even from like a thinking I might have seen something similar in a dream before. And that part's always weirded me out, but I don't think I've had that anytime recently, at least.
It's like, I think I had it today, honestly, when I was starting to play Ranch Sim with Yoshi.
To be fair, how many times have you played Ranch Sim recently?
None.
Ever? You've never played the game before?
I played it once.
Maybe you remember the one time you played.
No. This is kind of a tangent, but have you heard about
the good word of God?
about Google's quantum chip named Willow that says it can prove the existence of parallel universes?
No, but this sounds like the beginning of a sci-fi horror movie.
It does. I only heard about this today. And I'm trying to find information on it. And there's a lot of things, but it's a lot of reading. But like it says, Google says new quantum chip may prove parallel universes. Google claims quantum chip may prove existence of parallel universes. It sparks debate on multiverse theory.
Well, how is it supposed to prove multiverses?
It's a lot of jumbo that I don't understand, man. Say this week, there was capable performing in minutes. Tasks that would take supercomputers billions of years could be explained by the concept of parallel universes. The performance of the Willow chip was so phenomenally fast that it had to have borrowed the computation from parallel universes. Even said in a blog post.
So wait. So it's just a really good computer chip that people are saying is so good that there's no way it can be that good, and that's why it's proving that parallel universes exist.
The idea that parallel universes may play a role in quantum computing isn't new, but Nevin's statement marked the first time a major tech executive linked his company's achievements to the multiverse theory. According to Nevin, the chip performed a computational task that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years in under 5 minutes. This mind-boggling number exceeds known timescales in physics and vastly exceeds the age of the universe, Nevin wrote. Nevin even suggested that Willow's extraordinary performance lends credence to the notion that quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes, in line with the idea that we live in a multiverse. Concept first proposed by physicist David Dust.
Okay. I mean,
I don't know. This is...
I'll let them believe what they want. I won't take away their fun.
I feel like that's fan fiction for scientists, honestly.
I feel like that's just them, that's them having fun on the job. You know, like that's their fun. They're like this is the multiverse right here.
We did it, we cracked it, and we're like, okay, Grandpa.
And we're like, you know what? I'm happy for you. I don't, okay, well, I would love to see a paper about this that actually tries to explain it in depth.
I want to study parallel universes, please.
I mean, I feel like it would also be very interesting. It would read boring just because of the scientific jargon, but the actual concept around it, I feel like, is much more interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Have you ever read scientific reports for fun?
Yes.
I have.
Mostly psychology ones, yeah.
I haven't read full psychology ones, but I have read biological ones specific to back when I had like a freestanding way of getting onto JSTOR and everything for my college papers. Because like I would look up for what I was actually looking up, like actual resources for, but then I would like randomly type in either a typo, or I would just type in a random word, and I would find a bunch of these papers that were on these scientific studies and experiments. And some of the titles that they choose are so out there. It's similar to that entire thing of like, new chip Willow finds multiverses, and that's like the title of the research papers. And you can't help but be curious about what this is talking about.
I mean, that's a like a genuine marketing thing though, too.
Eat chip lie. That should be the Willow marketing chip. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think I remember reading something about bioluminescent algae and if it would make manatees glow.
Well,
I don't even remember if it was successful, but I remember they sure as hell fed a lot of manatees some glowing algae. And I thought that was so funny to me because I'm like, these manatees are just like, okay.
Ooh, little treats.
But yeah, I don't know, it's weird. I find entertainment in very odd places. But so does Sarah. I know the things she's into. Bees. Only fake bees, though. Not a real bee.
Hey, with real bees. I just don't want to actually be a beekeeper.
They won't kill you.
I mean, I've never been stung by a bee. I might be allergic.
That you know. I mean, I've heard... Granted, I don't think this is true, but I'll look it up just in case. But I remember I was always told that the first sting you get from a bee doesn't indicate if you're allergic. It's the second sting that indicates it.
Well, I've never been stung once, let alone twice. So...
Doesn't mean you're not allergic. Because I'm curious if this is true. Yeah, I mean, well, where? Maybe, that's the thing. If you are allergic to a bee, I feel like no matter what, you would definitely realize that it's not a normal reaction.
Well, yeah, I hope.
Because even a normal bee sting, you can still have like a bump and stuff. Because it's a bee sting. But also, I always feel bad if bees sting me. Because it's like, I wasn't trying. You say same. You've never been stung by a bee.
No, but I mean in general.
However, if a hornet or a wasp comes at me, it's fair game.
Oh, yeah.
I think they are shoot on sight. Honestly, I'm okay with pulling out the AK and just going wild.
Lock and load.
Even though there's no way that any of those bullets would hit small than inside.
I mean, they have like those little salt guns, right? That you use to like shoot flies and things.
You shoot salt at a fly?
Yeah, that's a thing. Hold on.
I've never heard of shooting salt at a fly. When you said salt guns, I thought you meant for like, granted, I don't know why you need a gun for this, but like getting snails out of a place or something. Which also, in my personal opinion, if you use salt to torture a snail, I feel like that makes you a
bad person,
sadist. Yeah. Because that's just mean.
There, I sent it in the chat.
Bug assault. Why do these look like weird souped up Nerf guns?
They do.
What is advanced combat fiber optic? It's $55. Fire your fly swatter today and turn annoyance into fun with the Bug Assault Advanced Combat Fiber Optic 3.0.
Then like build your own salt pouch. What is the difference?
How? Okay, no, I need you to tell me. How does this? Okay. It shoots salt, right?
Yes.
Is it shooting like a beam of salt? Or is it like trying to shoot a grain of salt?
Let me watch this video. What the fuck? Hold on, watch the video.
If it's the same. Why is Swedish Chef filling up this Nerf gun with salt? Why is he shooting Jello off of... Also, yes, it's not a singular thing. Oh, if you're hearing that, that's the thing. Why does he keep shooting Jello, and why is there so much Jello in his kitchen? And it has a laser sight that's apparently sold separately. And now it's showing like a bunch of monks.
But he's having so much fun.
Why is it showing all these people in like robes? And why is there so much candy? Okay.
If you wanted to buy the gun, the salt, and then also the laser, it would cost you $80.
On that note, I think we should stop. Because I don't. Goodbye. I don't.